I went to University of Tennessee at Martin for my undergrad, and I was there from 1990 fall to spring of 1995. I got my degree in secondary education with an endorsement in U.S. history or world U.S. history. I went back and got my certification for government. And then later on, which I think I've been teaching for about 10 years, I went back through UT Martin and got my master's in school administration. Now, UT Martin is kind of an online program, which kind of worked out. So 90% of it was online.
All right. What made you choose Arlington?
Well, I mentioned earlier I was the head football coach at Bolton. I did that for 6 years. And my best friend was the head coach here. And I was kind of tired of being a head coach. Kind of wanted to take a step back, and I got hired here. They had a history spot open and a football position open, so I came over here and ran the defense for him and taught. And like I said, I did that for 3 years. Arlington is a great school and a great community. It was a little closer to my house, which was nice. I hate to say it was less responsibility because I wasn't the head football coach anymore. So, but it was a lot of fun, and it just seemed a good group of guys. I knew several of the guys on staff. Just kind of felt like it was a good opportunity and a good step back. And then with my kids starting high school, it kind of made sense from a time standpoint, kind of to your point earlier about, kids and stuff like that.
What has been more valuable in your career, your education or your experience?
Experience by far. Which I kind of tell everybody, nobody prepares you for this. Specifically being an assistant principal, there's just so much that happens during the day that's random. It could be, a bus late, or a parent up here for like an emergency kind of deal. You just never know what you're getting into. Maybe student discipline or something pops up, or you just never know what you're getting into, and you can learn procedure, but the biggest thing about this is dealing with people. Kids, parents, other teachers, and that's something that the experience is more valuable than what I learned in college. I have a minute to kind of prepare and check emails, see if there's any emergencies, check for bus combinations and stuff like that so I like that 20 minutes 20 minutes of quiet time to kind of get ready for the day.
What is your morning routine?
All right. When I get here at 6:20, the first thing I do is I come in, open up, check my emails. A lot of times I'll get notifications if a bus is late or something like that. So, that's just good information to know. I check emails, try to get some stuff done. A lot of times if I have a meeting later on in the day that I have to do, a lot of times I'll do that before everybody gets here, because once the building's full of people, I don't know which way my day is going, right? So if I have a few minutes before, when it's quiet, it's easy. But so about 6:38, I'll go outside, check all the buses in, any issues, check on anything like that. And then when they come in, I come in and I kind of start doing my work, and a lot of times that may be a meeting, it may be a teacher observation, checking up, filling up, getting caught up with discipline, stuff like that. So from there, it kind of depends on what's on my plate that day.
All right. How do meetings affect your schedule on the daily?
I have meetings all the time. It's hard, especially for me, and some people may disagree, but on block schedule, a lot of times the meetings that we do, if they overlap periods, like that means I can't be where I need to be for transition time in the hallways, or when we're in the middle of teacher observations, it's harder to get into classrooms to watch teachers teach, and those kind of things. So I know ahead of time when the meetings are supposed to be, but everything else has to work around those meetings, because anytime you invite parents on campus or a lot of that stuff a lot of our meetings are legal, a lot of legal stuff that we do. They have to be done at a certain time, so you want to make sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be, and sometimes they take up a lot of time.
All right. Do you get any breaks throughout the day?
That's funny you ask. And I never know. I never know. I try to, we cover cafeteria duty too. The assistant principals, we cover cafeteria duty. We do 2 apiece. So I work A and B lunch. And so during season, I want to come over and eat my lunch and kind of want to shut the door. But it's funny here recently, especially this semester, as soon as I sit down, something will happen or somebody will need me. And there was one day, honestly, that my food went off in my microwave over here, and I had my fork, and I was lifting up, and then somebody comes in. It was an emergency I had to deal with right then. So I just put my food up, set it aside, handle whatever. So, I mean, you just don't never know when it's going to be.
All right. When do you end up leaving for school?
Well, it depends. Like in the afternoon, the buses roll out. We roll out at 2:08. I'm supposed to stay till 2:45, but I almost feel guilty leaving at that time often. So I usually probably leave about 3:15, 3:30. It depends on what's going on. Like with observations, trying to get them written up and get the feedback back to the teachers. I don't do well when I go home to work. Like I try to do all my work here. So sometimes that may be a little bit later. If I work a ball game, like last night or yesterday, I didn't go home until wrestling was finished, at 8 o'clock. So I went off campus for a little bit, but I came right back. Friday night football games, I don't go home because there's just too much going on. So sometimes, it may be a 14-hour day, just with games at night, So on those days, I'll try to maybe go work out for a little bit, for an hour or two, and then come back, and then you work the ball game, and it's 10 o'clock at night before you get home. So it just varies. I like to leave at 3. 6:20 to 3. I think is pretty normal hours, I guess. But it just depends on what's going on, especially if we have a ball game that night or an event that we're working.